Well, hello and welcome back. This is Rob Minton, and I typically talk about ideas and strategies you can use to increase your cash flow in these videos. If this is something you would like to do, grab my book at the link below this video. Today, though, I want to talk about something different, and I'm recording this on a Sunday morning. I am all beat up, I'm sore, I'm tired, and the reason why is that I did this 10-mile trail race yesterday morning, and I'm sore from it. And the reason why I'm sore is because this course was brutal. it was just brutal. It was amazing, but it was brutal. And it reminds me of the story where I now repeat it, but I don't know, someone had said, that their parents or grandparents, they would walk to school uphill both ways. This is exactly how this particular course felt. When I run at home, I usually just throw my shoes on, headphones, and I head out for a run right from my house. And where I live, it's relatively flat, so I don't get the opportunity to train on hills. I could obviously get in the car, go drive somewhere that has, some mountains and hills, and then practice on those, but I typically don't. We are fortunate here, though, that we're very close to Lake Erie. So my typical run is usually along the shore of the lake, which is pretty cool. So why am I sharing all of this with you? Well, a couple of reasons. First off is I have a personal goal, and you might think this is a little bit wacky, but my personal goal is to be able to maintain the fitness level so that I could just go out and run 10 miles at any point in time without any training. And I know that might sound a little crazy, like why would you need that goal? In our world today, there's really no reason why I would ever have to just go spontaneously run 10 miles. Well, this goal is important to me because throughout my life, I've run several different marathons. If you've never trained for a marathon, it's a simple process. You plan several weeks in advance. First week, you run a mile. Then the next week, 2 miles, 3 miles, 4, 5, 10, 12, up to 20 miles. Usually that's how you train for a marathon. And then on marathon day, you run your 26 miles. And this training process sucks, right? It's brutal because every single week you're adding mileage. So you're forcing your body to adapt. You're sore all the time. You have blisters. It's just an uncomfortable process. And for 3 of my marathons, I would go through this process. I'd finish the marathon. I'd be like, awesome. And then I would cut back significantly on my running. And within a month or 2, I would lose all of the stamina and endurance and everything I'd forced my body to build, prepare for the marathon. And I was like, man, this is ridiculous. Why would I put my body through all of that and then just let it go? It seems like silly, but that's actually what I did. Last year, I did this amazing event called the 24 and 24, where you run 1 mile every hour for 24 hours. So you're running 24 miles. And I trained to prepare for that. And I said, hey, I'm not going to let this go again. So now once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks, I will go out and do a long run in order to maintain that endurance and fitness that I developed. And my plan is to just continue doing it going forward. The second reason why I like to run a lot is really because I try my best to learn from watching people around me, and more specifically, older people in my life, grandparents and parents. And I'm trying to identify things that they have done in their lives that have made their lives better. And I'm also looking for things that maybe they could have done differently or they didn't do that would have made their lives better, so that I can maybe implement some of those lessons in my life. And one of the unusual commonalities that I identified a long time ago is that none of my older family members ever exercised once. My parents divorced when I was 2, and my mother and I moved in with my grandparents. My grandparents were retired at the time. I never once saw them go for a walk. I never saw them attend any exercise class. I never saw my grandfather do a push-up. I never saw him go for a run. The same thing applies to my father. Never once has he ever exercised. I've never witnessed it. I've never heard him mention it. Same thing with my mother. She never really exercised. My mother died in her late 60s from lung cancer, which was primarily caused by smoking, a brutal process. My father today has several health complications that have really restricted his quality of life. My grandfather that I grew up with, he died relatively early from a heart attack, and my grandmother had several health complications as well. Now, who knows? Had they exercised, would any of that been preventable? I don't know. Who knows? But I have the opportunity to do something different, maybe to exercise to hopefully either delay or prevent those issues from happening in my life. And I would much rather be in good physical shape than not being in good physical shape. So I'm going to make the investment and sacrifice some effort in order to try to prevent problems that I've watched happen in older family members in my life. The third reason why I exercise a lot also is connected to family and observing behaviors of family members. My family, there is some mental illness that has kind of passed down from generation to generation. I am doing my absolute best to prevent that mental illness from entering my life, and my main focus on doing that is exercise. There are other reasons why I run, which I might share in another video, kind of very personal, hard to share reasons, but I'm going to hold those for another video. The last thing I'll say about this is that I've come to the point where I love to run. I love to exercise. It makes my life better. I look forward to it, especially long runs. What happens is I put headphones on, and it's like you kind of go into this mental cave where you're working on problems, you're thinking about important things, and usually I'll come out of the exercise with some great ideas and very helpful plans that I can then implement. It's just become a critically important part of my life, and I think my life would be far worse if I didn't exercise. That's how important it is to me. I mean, I exercise several times a day. It's just such a tool to improve the quality of your life. It does suck in the beginning when you start. It doesn't matter if you're weight training, it doesn't matter what it is. It sucks in the beginning. All the glory comes after you go through that process that you force your body to adapt. Once you go through that, it's just awesome. I mean, yeah, you're still sore. I'm sore all the time, but that soreness is like a sign to me, like, hey, you're doing the right things, you're on track. And so I don't know if this is helpful for you or not. Hopefully it is on some level. And if so, get out there and kick some ass. Catch you in the next video.